Everything that we teach is actionable and tactical, and we're not gatekeeping, and we're not giving you a 30,000-foot view and then saying, hey, you have to buy our coaching program. Obviously, we're going to give you more speed, and you're not going to have to learn some of the hard lessons that you don't get with coaching. But you can come to the event, buy a ticket, get all the information, and be able to go home and apply it within 7 to 14 days. My stuff, your stuff. And no matter if you've been in the gym business for haven't been in it very long, or you've been in it for a long time, the intent is to give you tactics and strategies. We're not trying to impress you. We're trying to give you the skills that you actually need to win, and we give a shit, which is why we give you guys so much value that you don't have to pay us afterwards.
Welcome to the Profit Lifestyle for Fitness Entrepreneurs podcast. My name is Scott Carpenter. I am a personal trainer turned multiple gym owner and investor who's already been through the rock bottom and near bankruptcy in the fitness business. But I've been lucky enough to come out the other side and have turned the profits of my fitness business into indestructible wealth. I'll be sharing the no bullshit strategies, tactics, and advice to win big in business and in life. So if you're a gym owner, a personal trainer, or an online coach who wants to make multiple six figures in take-home profit and have the freedom with your time to actually enjoy it, subscribe now to this podcast. This is the show for you. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Profit Lifestyle for Fitness Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Scott Carpenter, as always, and with me is one of the coolest guys I know in the business. His name is Matt Wilber. Some of you have heard of him before, but he is an absolute killer as a gym owner, multiple gym owner, and in this space for quite a few years. And there's so much we're going to talk about. We're going to make a huge announcement about, and I've been teasing this, that is coming. We're going to open up the wait list at this episode, where you'll be one of the first ones to be able to get a ticket to the event that we're putting on together, which I am just super excited about. It's November 14th and 15th in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I'm just so pumped because I met Matt for the first time. Matt, what was it, in April?
The event?
Yeah.
I believe so. It feels so long ago.
It seems like half a year ago already, but it hasn't been. But yeah, so like you, because I think you'd been following some of my stuff on high, that I talk about high ticket strategies, and then also on like kind of the wealth building side. And then I can't remember how we connected exactly, but.
Well, I reached out to you because we're looking for speakers for our event. So the event was intended to find people that have scaled multiple locations. It's called the Growth and Scale Summit. And I actually found it was very difficult finding people that have actually scaled to multiple locations successfully. But the reason I reached out to you particularly is because you had skill sets that we weren't teaching there, that were complete opposite of my skill sets, which was going to be high ticket, because I'm more of a high volume, high growth, fast growth, more of inside of the large group training space. Mm-hmm. And your approach is completely different. And I knew if my audience could get what you teach, then they could take what they do and put it on steroids, which is exactly what happened at the event.
You put that thing together masterfully, because it's funny, because us working with a lot of the same people, it's crazy. And so yeah, you asked me to go there and kind of teach about that high ticket stuff, and that was in Michigan, where you're at, and we'll let everybody know like how big of a powerhouse you are in the space in a second, because I knew we have a lot of mutual acquaintances. But I went there, and then I obviously, it was a 3-day event, and I got to see all that you do and all your stuff, and I was just blown away as well. I'm like, holy shit, you really know your stuff in a space that I'm going to totally agree with you. It's hard to meet other people who have that depth of experience and own multiple locations successfully, right? Which is very difficult to do. The con of our industry, it's not that scalable to multiple locations. It's very, very difficult to do for a lot of reasons. But yeah, you having such experience in the large group space and being one of the best I've ever seen for volume acquisition, right? And really dialing that in. I was pretty damn impressed. And then I think we just really clicked, and it's funny because you and I hit day one pretty hard. You had like half the day pretty much. I had like half the day. And so I got to see your stuff when you were on stage. And then I'm just like, Matt, during the break, it was like lunch and stuff, like, you're going to find this really eerie, because the cool thing, like our philosophy about doing business the right way, and doing it for the long term and all these different things. And just the connection we have with prospects and customers and members, our philosophies are very, very, very similar to the point where like we have a lot of the same language just applied in different ways. That's the best way I can describe it to people. It's almost like I just couldn't believe it. I told you, I'm like, you're going to find this really eerie to see how similar our things are, just applied totally differently.
And then I
And
think we have common shared pain and suffering that any gym owner that's opened multiple locations over a period of time could only experience and only like face, right? So I think
yes.
we also have that in common of just shared suffering, same pain, very similar stories, came from absolutely nothing and was
Hmm.
able to build a fitness empire, right? So like it was just we shared stories, broke bread. Obviously, we're on the same wavelength, and then we teach complementary things, but we also teach very drastic things that complement each other that when
Yeah.
you apply them together, like you have an unbeatable model and I would say an unfair competitive advantage in the marketplace. And I think the other thing that's unique is obviously me and you both do coaching, we both have programs, we both help gym owners, and a lot of times we would shy away from doing an event together or like your stuff's different than mine. Most people would, vice versa, either poop on the other person to try to look better
Yes.
and vice versa, where we're like, they can work together. And we actually have a lot of clients that pay me and pay you, and they get awesome results because of it.
Yeah.
So with that, you're going to get the full spectrum of everything humanly possible inside the gym space at one event. And then the other part of it is that I loved is me and you don't gatekeep any of our stuff.
Hmm.
It probably hurts our sales because we give so much value, so much information that you don't technically need to hire us. Like we had people that did your stuff and before they even paid you as a coaching client made 20, $30,000 within 60 days just
Yes.
applying what you taught them at the event. I had one client when you were teaching, I went to him because he's an action taker, he's a rock star, he's amazing. I was like, dude, you're gonna come up with a 10K offer. I believe within 2 weeks he had a 10K offer sold at his gym, and he didn't pay for any of your services yet.
Nope.
None of your
Nope.
service because everything that we teach is actionable and tactical, and we're not gatekeeping and we're not giving you
Yeah.
30,000 foot view and then saying, hey, you have to buy your coaching program.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to give you more speed and you're not going to have to learn some of the hard lessons that you don't get with coaching. But you can come to the event, buy a ticket, get all the information, and be able to go home and apply it within 7 to 14 days. My stuff, your stuff. And no matter if you've been in the gym business for like, haven't been in it very long, or you've been in it for a long time, there were so many people that like, I've been to every industry event humanly possible and nothing touches this.
Hmm.
Because the big difference is it's not going to be a bunch of thrills. It's not going to be the highest production value on the planet. The intent is to give you tactics and strategies. We're not trying to impress you. We're trying to give you the skills that you actually need to
Yeah.
win, and we give a shit, which is why we give you guys so much value that you don't have to pay us afterwards. Does it hurt our pocketbook?
Sure.
Probably. We
Yeah,
could make a lot.
probably.
We could make a lot more money gatekeeping a lot of the secret sauce, but we'd rather give you the secret sauce, and then we're not going to give you some high pitch like crazy, what Alex Hermosi just did this weekend. You're not going to get that type of sales process. Obviously, would we like to work with you?
Yeah.
Absolutely, but you don't have to work with us to win, and that's I think that
Yeah.
the big difference with what we did, where I was like, we're on the same wavelength. We think the same. We have high level strategies and tactics that work across the board. We have shared suffering. And then, we actually give a shit, which sometimes is not common anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we have hired I mean, yeah, we've been to like every event imaginable, right? We've hired so many different coaches over the years. We've worked with a lot of people. We've worked next to people. We've learned a lot. And yeah, a lot of these events are basically just a glorified sales pitch. And who wants to spend their time and their money to go to one when you're like not going to get anything
Yep.
besides a sales pitch? And that's what I love. Like when you approached me about this, you're like, hey, this is workshop style, and that's for high tech. You give me a 3 hour block, 3 hour block.
Yep.
and taught it. And we did the work in real time together, right? And give feedback and have discussions. And the fact that you said, hey, I want to do a workshop style, we're actually we're learning it, we're actually getting the work done. I'm like, sign me up for that. I'm game. Because most of them aren't. You're going to get 6 to 8 speakers a day that are going to get up there for 50 minutes at a time. And you're going to leave with 30, 40 pages of notes. And you're going to go back to work on Monday and you'll have the idea of stuff you want to do, but you don't exactly know what you're going to do, and then you might half-ass implement a couple concepts, and then you just go on to normal business.
And that's what I hated about most events is you might have one speaker that dials in on some tactics and strategies, but how much tactics and strategies can you
Right.
really dive into in 45 minutes, 60 minutes? Here's what most speeches sound like. I'm going to give you 10, 15 minutes, my backstory, so you believe in what I talk about.
Right.
I'm going to agitate a problem, and then I'm going to try to sell you the solution at the end. In order for you to apply what I just taught you, right? You have to buy my program
Yeah.
afterwards. Or all the speakers are to set up the main guy so you can buy their coaching program and then you leave and some of it's high value and then you have a bunch of speakers that don't work in the industry, don't know your industry. You
Mm-hmm.
got to figure out how to apply what they just talked about into your business, where what we do is like we literally like you can see how the event is structured where you get everything you absolutely need in a structured way and nothing's held back. Where
Yeah.
most events it's just you feel good when you leave, but 90 days later, when you look back, you're like, all right, I was motivated for 2 weeks, but I'm still in the same
Yes.
place. Now I'm just actually more overwhelmed because I just created a bigger gap between where I was and where I wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
which is a terrible place to be. Where when you leave with us, you're going to pick one or three things that you want to go apply, you can apply in the next 2 weeks and start making more money.
Yeah.
And that's the key is the reason why we called it the Gym Profit Summit is because everything we're going to teach you is about making money. If you don't like making money,
Don't
don't come to
come.
the event. If you, for some reason, have a weird thing about an event all about making money because you want to help people, that's totally fine. But guess what? In order to help people, you have to make money. All money is exchange of value. The reason why me and Scott have made millions of dollars in profits in our business is because we've added value to clients' lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most gym owners, and like don't take offense to this, but most gym owners make like $50,000 a year. Alex Hermosi just shared on his big live event the average entrepreneur in the United States. I think the median income is $74,000 a year. It was either 54 or $74,000 a year, right? And he said that that's not even minimum wage in San Francisco. So we
Mm-hmm.
work 80 hours, we grind, we work really hard, and we don't make enough money. Like you'd be better off working a W-2 job somewhere else for the returns that we're getting. So the reason why I've made a lot of money is because I've helped a lot of people. And that's the name of the game. But you can't help people unless you learn marketing, unless you learn sales, unless you have the right money model to be profitable, which most gyms just don't have the right money model. They're still trying to do 2018, 2019. Like
Yep.
even for me, I had to shift my money models to make them work because the days I've had gyms that have had thousands of bootcamp clients, like not joking, two of our gyms had over 1,000 clients pre-COVID, right? Like that's insane. Like you don't have to have good money models. You don't have to, it's just pure volume. The economics
Mm-hmm.
makes sense no matter what, right? But now the days of having 1,000 member gyms are over, right?
Yeah.
Like a really successful boot camp gym, you're talking 400 or 500 clients. But if your model is I need 400 or 500 clients to be successful in today's market, you're probably not going to be successful, right? Like in the boot camp space, how do we become super profitable at 200, 300 members with the right money models? Where before, like I could open gyms, have 500, 600 clients, super easy. We went into one market that the economics like didn't make sense, but there were so many people in that area that I'm like, if I can't get 600 clients in this area, I should just never open a gym. Like my idea of a bad gym was 500, 600 members. That
That's
was my idea
nuts.
of like, that's a
You know how
shit
rare
market.
that is today?
Yeah. Super,
So
super
rare.
rare, right?
Incredibly rare.
The gyms that like think they're doing super well. They're around 400 members in the boot camp space. And part of that is still like for them, it's still high volume, high churn. And I'm
Yes.
like, if you were to just bolt on better systems to be able to make more money off of those clients by providing more value, not only would you reduce churn, but you would make way more money and you need
Hmm.
way less members to make the same amount of profit that you're making off of the 400 clients, right? So with that, I had to massively shift how I operated, how I ran my gyms. And then obviously that aligns with what you teach. And like obviously I wasn't doing high ticket like you do, but after the event, I'm like, all right, I see what even to me, part of why I bring guests in is because I want to learn from them. And then I just want to rip off and duplicate as much as humanly possible. I always give other people credit, but I also then make it my own and be able to package it up in what I do. Right. So after your thing, I was like, man, if I just tweak this one thing in my
Hmm.
ascension model, I add high ticket at scale and be able to completely change the economics of what I'm doing. I already thought I had a good model. I already thought I had a good process, but I didn't understand how easy it was to be able to layer on high ticket and how to position it and how to offer it. And half of it is just having the offer and having the courage to say you have the offer and put it in front of somebody and be willing to take a no,
Yeah.
right? So Scott coming to my event changed the economics of my model completely, and I didn't have to hire Scott. I just had to bring him in and teach me what he does, right? So with that, part of it is getting the right information and then being able to apply it effectively. So it changed the economics of my business and my model, and I was able to just bolt it on to what I already do. I didn't have to change my entire sales process. I didn't have to add a bunch of layers. I just had to add another option and position what I do a little bit differently, but my deliverability of it only changed by one deliverable, which was giving them a little bit more access to a coach. And that's the power of it. Like Scott taught me how to add 2 to 3K packages onto what I already do. He teaches higher ticket than that, but for us, it just works because it's a little bit easier for our team to sell. I don't need as
Hmm.
strong of sales skills, but now I can offer it. Now I can make more money, and it completely changes the economics. One person that's on our program that went to the event, who also spoke at the event, is now making an extra 8 to 10K. One week he made 20K off current members, and part of that is because he added a high ticket to our system before I even taught the high ticket system inside of our stuff. It's that powerful. And obviously, we'll get into getting on the wait list for the event. But our promise for you guys is you're going to leave in 90 days with a proven process to add at least another 10 to 20K in month per month in profit into your locations, assuming you're at least break even already, right? Assuming you're break even, and that's where I find most gyms. Maybe you find them a little bit different. Is most gyms aren't losing a ton of money. Most gyms are just kind of stuck, just pretty much breaking even, barely paying themselves what they're paying themselves. And they're kind of stuck at like in the large group space, 100, 150, can't break past 200, right? And
That's
that's
what's
kind of where
most
there's,
common in the large group space that I
yeah.
come across and work with. Yeah.
And that's where they're stuck. So there's
Hmm.
2 ways to grow out of that. One is having a growth mechanism that allows you to do that, which I'm going to teach you how to explode past your 150, 200 members. One of our plays is averaging at least 50 trials a month with our clients. So I'm going to teach you guys that. I'm going to show you how to make more money off of every single client with our ascension model. But then Scott's going to show you like you could be break even today and be bringing extra 10 to 20K with his high ticket sales system without changing anything, right? So
Hmm.
oftentimes we're just a one tweak, one change away from making a massive difference without having to completely change your model. So our big promise to you, why you should attend the event, is we're going to show you how to make at least another 10 to 20K a month in profit, whether that's off your existing clients, whether that's getting more clients and getting them to pay you more money, or implementing high ticket sales at the event. So if
Hmm.
you like the idea of making more profit, and learning nothing about except making more profit, then you guys want to be at the event.
Yep.
We're gonna go into details of the event for you guys, and then obviously at the end we'll show you guys how to get on the wait list because we only have 120 tickets. It's gonna be a small, intimate event. It's going to be workshop style. You're going to have time to implement the stuff. Really think through things. Like Scott does an amazing job of, all right, here's how you structure your offer. Here's the first step. Gives you guys sheets to work on so you can start writing that out. You can ask Scott questions. Like you're going to leave 99% of the stuff ready to go and be ready to implement, because the big thing that me and Scott want to do is put you into action. We don't want to put you into thinking. We don't want to put you into just gathering more information and making you feel good and singing kumbaya. We actually want to put you in action. In order to do that, we give you the time and space to be able to do that at the event. Because let's be real, the average gym owner has maybe 5 hours a week to be able to work on their business. So when you're leaving, coming to the event, that's a great time to be able to work on your business. When you're at the event, you're going to be able to work on your business. And then on the plane ride home, assuming you're on a plane, you're going to be able to work on your business so that when your butt hits the seat on Monday morning,
You're
you're
ready to
going to be
go.
able to take action and start implementing the stuff. So most of the stuff within 1 to 2 weeks, you'll be able to take it home, apply it, start growing your business. And that's without hiring me or Scott. Obviously, if
Yeah.
you want to take what we do and put it on steroids, you can hire us to implement what we're going to teach you. But the cool thing is you don't need to pay us in order to take action.
One of the coolest things was just getting DMs from a couple people at the event who didn't hire me. We haven't got any calls. They just sent me, hey, I just sold a $3,000, like within like 7 days of this, just
Yeah.
sold a $3,000 program. Thank you. Couldn't have done it without your framework. Thank you so much. Right? It's the coolest thing in the world. And then, yes, of course, some of those people are like, okay, can you help me just take the next 8 weeks and just like dial this in? And like the guy that you were talking about who did 10, 20K on his own first, right? We connected a month or two later. And yeah, I mean, now and he hit a renewal of one. So he's taking a longer launch. But in new business alone, within like, I think it was 12 weeks or something, 8 to 12 weeks, somewhere along that line, he's at $58,000 in new business,
Yep.
which is wild. And these renewals, only one renewal's come in so far. Cause now think of that. Think of all that new business come in, and then think of when those renew and you lock them in place for 6 to 12 months. Like, it's absurd what can be done.
So the same person also has a growth problem in his business because
Yes, thanks to you.
yeah, he uses our stuff. He's got too many clients. He didn't have enough coaches. He couldn't hire coaches
Yep.
to be able to service anybody anymore. So he has an issue with too many people want to work with him. And then on top of that, he's layered on high ticket. The guy is one, like, got to give him credit. Like, out of all the clients, like, literally when we get on a coaching call, he's already like implemented half of what I've already told him before the call's even over. Like, you can hear his like keyboard, like,
Oh yeah.
he's taking
He's the biggest
action.
action taker of all time.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
shows. But guys, this guy has also struggled for a decade.
Yeah.
Flat broke, lawsuits, like he's been through a lot. It's not
Yeah.
somebody who just walked into just the perfect location and just a dream. No, this guy's been through some shit like Matt and I
Absolute nightmares. But he
so
was
bad.
given the right plan,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he
And
tapped into the right people, and now he's excelling and he's winning. So he went to our first workshop that I ever did when I got out of Fit Body, and he came to the event. So it was the first time I ever did a workshop, anything that was not Fit Body related. So
Mm-hmm.
prior to that, all I ever did was events for Fit Body. He showed up to the event. He's a quiet, reserved person
Yeah.
because he's taking notes and he's like, how do I apply this? But he was doing 8K a month at that time, solopreneur at his gym. I'm not going to share his numbers now, but they're well over 100K a month. He's on his second gym. Like,
Yep.
he's just absolutely, dialed in, and he's got a super scalable model. I'm actually really
Yes.
jealous of how scalable
Same.
his
It's
model
brilliant.
actually is. The reason I bring this up is if you're the person that if you give me the right information, I will apply it and I will win. You have to be at this event.
Yeah.
The wrong person is the person that is the information gatherer. the person that doesn't take action and makes excuses. Like, I would hate to turn anyone away from the event, but if you fall in that category, that you're just going to gather information, you always make excuses, you don't apply information, like, don't come to the event. You need to work on your mindset before you come to our event. But if
Mhm.
you're the type of person that says, if you give me the playbook, if you give me the right information, I will take action and I will apply it, you will win. So I used to be the vice president of product and results at Fit Body Bootcamp. My entire job was to create the systems, the processes, all the stuff from how do we get clients in, how do we get them results. I made all the sales presentations, all the stuff. And the people that did super well, and it was always funny because I'd make the presentations, I would do the stuff, and then they would share their numbers, and I'm like, "What did you do?" They're like, "Exactly what you taught me." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right. My stuff works." Weird, right? It was almost like I thought they did something different, right? Because they
Yeah.
got really good results, and then you'd have the people that would tweak it and change it and make it their own, and then they wouldn't get the results, but then they would be mad that they didn't get the results. You're like, "Well, what did you do?" They're like, well, I did this and I did that. And I'm like, well, you got rid of that because, and you don't realize how this affects this, and you don't
Hmm.
realize how this affects this. You tried to be too cute and too smart. Like, if you can just be humble for a minute, come and learn and apply what we teach you, it will work. I can guarantee you, and I promise you that. So if you're an action taker and you align with that, get to Scottsdale. Like, it's in November in Scottsdale, guys. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
You can't beat
There's,
that.
there's a reason why we did it in Scott. Like, nobody wants to come to Grand Haven, Michigan. I've learned that. I've done it out of convenience, but nobody wants to be in Grand Haven, Michigan in November. I don't want to be. I'm trying to actually leave this state and move to Aruba. So with that, everybody's going to want to be there. The event is going to be beautiful. The weather is going to be perfect. Uh, and if you're an action taker, you need to be in the room. So let's talk about like the kind of like the big three things that they're going to walk away with at the event. So the first
Yep.
thing is build a winnable model. So a lot of people are failing because they don't have a winnable model right now. Like they think I need 500 members. Once I get to 400, 500 members, then I'm going to be in a good spot. The goal is how do you maximize profitability on as few of members as humanly possible. So there's a few way that we teach you that. So one, obviously, I'm going to show you a high growth strategy that then leads into massively increasing profitability off of every single member. And part of it is what I learned from Scott. And then Scott's going to show you how do you maximize revenue off the get off of every single person that
Hmm.
comes through the door. So you need way fewer members to make way more money off of your clients. Most people, you guys are going to make 2, 3, 4 times more profit in year one off of a single person, learning from what me and Scott teach you when you combine that inside of your business. The
Yeah.
next thing is just mastering high ticket sales. There is no one better in the world at teaching high ticket sales than Scott. Nobody, right? So I've been in the industry for 13 years. I follow everything. Like like even if I don't join programs, I get enough information to know who's real, who's full of shit, whose stuff actually works. And no one teaches it better than Scott. And there's a lot of people now, if you notice, a lot of people now are trying to be high ticket sales gurus. And the reason why they're trying to do that is Scott laid the groundwork for that. And now everyone's trying to piggyback off it. Why is everyone piggybacking off of it? Because it freaking works,
So it
right? Because if
works.
you can bolt high tickets on, it can make almost any model, even if the model's not working right now, into a winnable model. And you can add 10 to 20K a month in extra profit just off of high ticket sales. And I'm going to show you how to just do that off your current members, right? So imagine
Yep.
your current member, not I need more people on the outside. How do you just add that to your current members, right? So I'll teach you that. I know Scott teaches you that, but some people think, well, now I got to sell high ticket to strangers. You actually don't need to sell high ticket to strangers. You can just sell it to your current members who like, know, and trust you. But the problem is, so many people offer nutrition services to their clients, and they actually should not unless it actually makes economic sense. I have one client, super successful. He runs his nutrition program as a fucking charity right now because he's
Hmm.
paying his nutritionist more money than he actually makes off nutrition services because they're not priced and positioned correctly.
Crushes my soul.
Yes, I'm like, I said, hey man, I love you, but you're running a fucking charity right now with your nutrition.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like,
it's so common. It's because we all know how many results, how much results come from nutrition, right? We all
yeah,
know that. We all eat well 80-90% of the time, and we know that that's a huge component of it. We try to impress that upon people. People don't want nutrition, right? It's not sexy. You don't, selling is nutrition coaching, and then we don't charge enough, so they don't take it seriously either.
yep,
And it's just soup to nuts. It's wrong. And so, like, nutrition is either like a sliver of our business, which we're basically, yeah, making like no profit on, or sometimes negative. So we barely do it, or we just give up and then we offer it, quote unquote, for free as a
yep,
value add because we think we need to do that it helps our closing rate. And it doesn't.
yep.
It doesn't. You need to charge a good amount for that. And I'm going to teach you the art of that. And it can be wildly profitable because nearly every single person needs it.
But at a minimum, the high ticket serves as a price anchor to be able to sell,
Yes.
mid or lower ticket at a much higher
At a
price. So
much higher price. Yeah.
even if you don't want to deliver on high ticket, which obviously Scott teaches you how to deliver, and you'd be amazed at how scalable the delivery can be, even when you're selling super high ticket prices.
Mm-hmm.
But at a minimum, it starts anchoring your other stuff that maybe you already do. Because a lot of you are like, how do we increase my rates? How do I charge more? Because I know I need to charge more. And one of the ways to be able to do that is have a much larger price anchor that then makes what you currently do seem way more affordable. But
Yep.
you'll also notice how I teach you to package it and how Scott teaches you to package it is so different than how you're currently positioning it. Because, like
Mm-hmm.
Scott said, no one gives a shit about the nutrition. They want to get the results, right? So at the end of the day, we want to sell the vacation and not the trip. Nobody wants to work out and nobody wants nutrition. I hate to tell you guys that, but 6% of the population actually works out on a consistent basis. 6%, right? So a lot of us try to sell to the 6%. You're going to go broke selling to the 6%, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't need our help, right? So like the only people that get excited when we talk about like nutritional services, so we actually try to provide nutrition with our membership, and one, fulfilling on it was a nightmare, and then two, who used it? The 6% that didn't need
Yep.
it. The dude that's already got his
Always.
six pack and discipline and dialed in and all that would use it. And then we're chasing around people, and it actually devalued our membership because
Yep.
people are like, we're charging more for membership because we're including these services that they didn't want.
Yep.
And it was like, well, I'm paying all this money and I'm not using any of the stuff, so I should pay less. And you're like, we're actually hurting sales because we were trying to include all this stuff into a package that no one actually wanted,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like pay, like have the services, but package them correctly, and then you're only working with people that actually want the service that you're providing. And it actually makes it where you do have a lot of clients that just come for the workouts, and you leave them alone and let them come for the workouts.
That's
And then the
it.
people, and then the people that actually want the higher level services and want the transformation, they pay the premium prices necessary for you to actually provide what they need. Because a lot of people try to like price it down, and then they try to make like what they do super scalable, but then they don't provide the client what they actually need to be successful,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, how about you price it in a way to be profitable so that you can deliver the service to that client and they're happy to pay the premium prices because you're providing a premium service to those clients. And then the other cool part is like you show them how to layer so many things into the offer that solves every single problem that a client can have, that then makes the offer seem like a steal.
Yeah.
But part of
As
it is the psychology. So part of what Scott will do is brainwash you that it's okay to charge these prices as well. So
Yes, a
he
lot of us
teaches,
have to overcome that
yeah,
and know that. Listen, I mean, you said it before, Matt. To money is just an exchange of value, and at the end of the day, if you're just giving away some meal plans or whatever, your nutrition coaching, it's worth that. It's a commodity,
yeah,
right? But if you can get into the psychology and get somebody to understand that they can break this cycle of self-sabotage and feeling like they're not worth anything and all that stuff that they've been having for 13, 14, 15 years, and you can help take them by the hand and help them build these habits in their life where they can not just get to where they want to be, but keep it forever and make it easy, make it fun, have it incorporate foods they actually enjoy eating. They can be able to still hang out with their friends and family and not be ostracized drinking water at home, right? So it's just easy to do these things and they can still live and enjoy life and live their best life and just be done with this constant struggle and guilt and shame over 13 years. Is somebody willing to pay $3,500 to solve that problem? Is it worth that? Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is. If you put these pieces together right. And that's what Matt's saying, whether it's acquisition, getting people in, or whether it's bolting on high ticket and all that stuff. Most everybody listening, you're 80% of the way there. The hard work is there. You've got your building and you're working with your people and you have trainers or coaches on staff, all this kind of stuff. You've got that. But for you to make another $100,000 this year in profit, it's not that much more work. It's just you've got to dial these little things in there. You got to take the 20% of what you've just got to improve, and that's where 80% of your future results are going to come from. That's harder than it seems. You got to learn the right path on it. But man, there's a huge difference in how you execute on these little things, and that's what you guys need this information for.
Yep.
You're so close, but you just got to make some tweaks and you can explode.
And at least we will brainwash you to want to implement and take action and overcome those fears. And the other cool part is you're going to have a lot of people in the room because there's already a lot of people that went to our other event. And although we were teaching a lot of similar stuff, they're like, I'm never missing an event that you're going to be there. So we can also introduce you to some people that before I introduced my audience to Scott have never done high ticket sales to selling 5 to 10K packages within a couple of weeks. But part of that is just they got the right mindset and the belief that they can actually do it. And when you have the belief to do it, you magically get the courage to go do it.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you the courage to go do some of these things, but also being able to see it in person helps really establish that belief and seeing what's possible. Because one of the reasons why I've had the success that I've had is I got to see people on stage talk about their success. And I'm like, man, if they can do it, I can do it. Because we're all human beings. There's nothing special about me and Scott except for we take information and we apply it. Like that's what's at speed, right? So at speed, we take information, we apply it, and we know that if somebody else can do it, so can you. And us being able to show you and also show you proof that it works, right? Because a lot of people have to have a certain level of certainty to have the courage to go apply it. And we will give you the certainty that it does work and you can do it. Every skill is learnable. Every skill on earth is learnable. And just, I keep mentioning Alex Hormozi, like think about where 10 years ago, he was running gyms, right? He moved across the country, ran gyms. And then, 10 years later, he makes an offer on stage and makes $100 million in 48 hours. Like he was a broke gym owner 10 years. Well, what did he do? He learned skills. He learned skills and then had the courage to apply those skills. And that loop just keeps repeating itself and it compounds over time. Now, we know the sexiest thing in the world is you guys want more leads and you want more people through your doors. So we are going to show you what's working right now in 2025. So we're going to give you the top 5 lead gen strategies. And when we talk about leads, a lot of what I teach is not lead gen. It's actually trial generation, meaning registrations for a program, people through your doors. So I'm going to show you a massive play that's working in every single gym, in every single market that will flood your doors with trials that are motivated and stay on long-term inside of your program. And then obviously in my model, I'll show you how to ascend them and start making a lot of money. Most people are acquiring a customer. So acquiring a customer, not a lead, not a trial, for around $100. So imagine if you could acquire a customer, somebody that's on a 12-month recurring membership for around $100. Compare that to traditional lead gen strategies. You generate a lead, it might cost the gym $20 to $50. You need to get a hold of that lead. And the industry average is 20% being able to get a hold of that lead. So
that tracks.
Now the cost just went up dramatically. The ability, once you get on the phone with that lead, to convert them into whatever your trial is, whatever your membership is. And then you got to factor in your trial conversion. a lot of gyms, even if they're getting $20 leads, their cost to acquire a customer is $300 to $500. Three to
Yep.
$500, right? So
And a
imagine
lot of
being,
time and a lot of time
yeah.
and effort.
So my strategy actually requires zero lead follow-up. So I'm going to show you the top strategies of being able, I call it the seven-figure marketing method. And the reason why I call it the seven-figure marketing, nothing pisses me off more than a lot of people like, I'm going to show you how to create a seven-figure gym. And none of them have done it.
Hmm.
I've created four seven-figure gyms. I've done over $40 million in gym sales. And the reason why I've been able to do that, I'm really good at acquiring customers. I'm really good at like getting trials through your doors. I'm really good at converting them to membership. I'm really good at sales, and I'm really good at delivering a product that delivers results. So I'm going to show you all that stuff. So I'm going to show you the top 5 things, the top 5 ways to get customers that work in every single market. For example, I'm going to show you guys how to leverage referral plays. We had to move our gym. I just went in. We're doing a referral VIP card in August, and one of my gyms already has 50 trials through the doors of clients buying a pass to bring people in. So clients paid to bring somebody into our gym. I spent zero on advertising. I sent 3 emails, and we talk about it after our sessions. And we have 50, and I have the pictures to prove it. Because whenever I say stuff like that, I'll be like, "That's not true." Like I just went into the
Yeah.
work. Our sign up sheets are on there. You can see who bought one and how much, like how many they bought. And like the top person bought 3 VIP cards, which isn't a ton, but obviously how we position it, how we offer it, how we get clients exciting, it's all marketing. But I haven't ran anything in August, and I have 50 paid trials.
Hmm.
Most gyms are like, I can't grow, I can't get anybody in, nobody wants our services. Our clients brought paid to bring in 50 people. So I'm going to show you the top referral plays. You can't do them every month. 4 times a year is all you want to do. But I'll show you the number one way to get trials through your doors right now. I'm going to show you all the best marketing strategies that I've learned over the last 12 years. I'm only going to teach you the ones that still work and you guys can apply right away into your gym. And there's multiple ways to get customers. So when you leave, you're never going to be like, I don't know how to get customers. I don't know how to
Right.
get people through my doors. I'm going to show you the top strategy to do that, the exact things that I did to be able to grow 4 gyms to over 7 figures and make over $40 million in revenue inside of my gyms.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the lead gen aspect because things have changed so much. They always
Oh
change,
yeah,
right? And what used to work 3 years ago doesn't work, right?
correct.
But most people just hang their hat on that. You look at a lot of the advice on that, it's just like they're doing the same thing. They're teaching the same thing. They're swearing it works, but all the people they work with are not seeing the results.
Yep. I've had
And
to adapt. What worked for me to grow the gyms to 7 figures stopped working after COVID.
stopped working.
Stopped
COVID
working, and
changed everything. And like you said, the
yeah.
math is different. So
Oh yeah.
there's market equilibrium, right? You've got client acquisition and then you've got your churn. And once those two numbers cancel each other out, there are things you can do to increase your acquisition,
Yeah.
obviously. There are things you can do to decrease your churn, but every market is going to have an equilibrium where you
Yeah.
just can't move beyond it, right? And wherever that is, it's lower than it used to be pre-COVID. There's a lot of reasons for that in the way the market has shifted, but that ain't going back higher. And so you need a more of a winnable model. You need to be able to generate more revenue per member than you used to, right? That's a lot of the high ticket and the ascension model, high ticket, mid ticket, very important. And then, yeah, the acquisition has gotten way tougher than it was years ago. You've got
Yeah.
to learn what's working now. And
You
that's
got
what
to
I'm really excited about too, because there's different things you can do, right? There's things that are going to have a very high chance, some are lower, but no matter where you're at and what type of business, if you're large group, if you're PT, if you're semi-private, you are going to get working lead gen strategies coming out of this thing.
that work today in
That
in
worked
every
today, not
yeah.
worked in 2019.
Correct. And obviously sometimes if you run a very unique, weird model that you're gonna have to figure out how to apply it. But
Mm-hmm.
99% of people were like, I've never and the cool part is if you've never applied the strategies, they work.
Yeah.
They work so good.
Yeah.
It's like the hyper responders, where obviously if you've done some of the tactics and strategies that we're going to teach you, they still work really well, but they're not going to work as well. So if you've been dieting for forever and we put you in a calorie deficit and get you working out, your results are going to be, you're still going to lose weight, but at the rate you're going to lose weight is going to be way slower, right? Your body's already adapted versus you take a dude that's 100 pounds overweight that hasn't done anything. He goes and sits on the couch, and then you put him in a calorie deficit or reduces carbs and get him working out, and he loses 15 pounds in 2 weeks. And you're like, so
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hyper responders to the stuff that we teach you because you aren't aware of these tactics and strategies and you haven't applied them into your business. And sometimes I forget how good they are because I'm like, I've been doing them forever. And the hyper responsiveness, like 50 for me is like, I mean, it's great, but we've done referral plays where we get 300 people at one gym coming in at one time,
That's
right?
insane.
When you first launch it and you first do it, and you're like, I wish that would work forever. It doesn't. But when you do some of these things I'm going to teach you on top of tried and true strategies that you're doing all the time, that's when you start getting the hyper growth. That's how you bust through the 150 to 200,
Mm.
the 250s. Because in order to bust through some of those plateaus, like you just need a massive amount of volume in a short, condensed period of time to bust through. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But then obviously the seasoned gym owners who've applied a lot of stuff, some of it's just re-looking at the basics and doing them at a higher level. Like
Yeah.
one of the things I had to change, I had the same onboarding process for 10 years and our conversions started to go down and down and down and down and down. And I'm like, what's happening? I had to add more value in our trial process. I had to add
Mm.
more touch points into our trial process. Now we're converting over 70% of trials to membership. So at our lowest, it went down to 40%, where before it was 60 plus percent with the same everything. Nothing changed. The
Yep.
whole presentation was the same. What we did with the trial all stayed the same, but I had to tweak and change our trial process and show more value of like actually show them value inside of what they're going to get with their membership before we even sat down with them on a one-on-one consult. So there's things I had to tweak and change to be able to today's like, dude, if you're just selling memberships, like work out with us, like you're not going to convert very high because you're not selling what people actually want.
Yep.
So inside of our sales script, inside of our sales process, we never talk about a membership. We just talk about the results that they're going to get. We had to find ways to uh, introduce more problems and do something called problem stacking. Times have changed. The problem is most people are involved, and the most gurus that people are working with don't operate a gym and are just teaching the same shit that worked for them 10 years ago and don't realize the game has changed. The
Yep.
puck has moved.
It has, guys. It's like MMA, right? You guys know the early days of UFC. Like I don't know if you
Be
ever
a good
seen that
wrestler.
stuff, but it's nuts. It's wild, right? And they just let these guys loose. There's like no rules. It's kind of crazy. But when MMA started getting steam, the game improved, evolved. What are you talking about? It's just evolving, right? And if you were in the early days of USC 20 years ago or however long it was, I don't know. Somebody else would know better than me. But then you step in the ring with the guys today and how much MMA has evolved. And they all get smoked. The best fighters 20 years ago would absolutely get annihilated by a quasi amateur today
Yep.
because the game has evolved so much and gotten so much better. And I mean, if you haven't evolved with these times, come to this event.
Yep.
Come to this event because the game has changed and what got you to where you're at now is not what's going to get you to where you need to be. Period.
And some of you, like maybe you're getting volume of people, but you're not converting, or
Yeah.
your attrition's really high. Again, you're a few moves away from being able to solve that. I'll give you an example. I took a phone call with somebody that works with the marketing agency that I'm partnered with, and she gets a ton of volume. Like she's does not need any help in getting more clients. So like she didn't need my system for getting more clients. But her conversions sucked, and she's like, "Well, I'm just high volume and I'm okay with lower conversions. I was like, well, what if you could have high volume and high conversions? And I was like, just walk me through what you do. And I'm like, here's three things that you could do that don't massively change your systems and
Hmm.
processes that are going to massively change. Like during their trial process, they don't even talk about like the proven process, how we get you results. And she has a proven process of getting people results. I'm like, you're literally making people guess how they're going to get results with you. Do you see where that could be a problem? You have no social proof that your program works, and your sales mechanism like is not effective,
Hmm.
right? Just change those. And she's like, oh, I could do that tomorrow. I'm like, exactly. Imagine being able to go
Right.
from 40% to 50, 55, 60% without a massive overhaul. How big of a change in her business? She's got the volume. Her retention was great, but her trial conversions sucked. I didn't charge her anything. Just took the call, said, take this. If you're still struggling, let's talk about working together. But I think you're smart enough to take what I just told you and go apply it and massively increase your numbers. Because
Hmm.
she was stuck, right? She didn't want to learn any of the make more money off of the clients yet. She's like she was happy with her business. It was high volume. Like she was happy with everything. But I was just like, let's just make that one change, that one tweak, and see what happens. And I haven't circled back with her since we had that call, but I guarantee you her conversions went up 10, 15%. And now she's breaking through her 400 member plateau because she's been stuck at 400 members for a long time. And it wasn't because she wasn't getting enough trials and it wasn't her retention. Her
Yeah.
trial conversion was not good.
Yeah.
And that's
Everybody's
all
got,
she needed to tweak.
that's it, guys. Like that's the great thing about this is everybody's got a bottleneck somewhere. And the key is, hey, let's identify that and let's put in the strategy to overcome that bottleneck. And that's how you can put in a little bit of effort and magnify the results on the back end. And each one of you has a bottleneck in one or more places. And it's like, what is the easiest way to get through that? That's how we've scaled. Matt and I have scaled to multiple locations on this. Like, how do we do this and make it easy?
And we've
And
also we've always faced all the issues that you're going to face in your business too. So at
mhm,
the end, one, it's a small group. So when we present and we're done, like you guys can come talk to us. You can pull us in the hallway. You can. So many people were pulling Scott aside, and Scott was helping them like implement the strategies that he talked about. Or we're going to introduce you to somebody that can help solve your problem because we're going to know, we'll probably
mhm,
know 30, 40% of the people in the room and who knows what, and just the connections that we can make for you guys to solve your problem. Most likely your problems are all going to be solved before you even leave.
yeah.
So you're going to have access to us. It's not like this big stage and you're not going to see us and we're going to be in the green room and big, we're gonna be big dogging you. Like we're actually gonna
Yeah.
be there. At our event, we ended up having to like tell like people get out of the room because you're being a distraction because people kept trying to talk to the speakers while people are trying to present. But that's the intimacy of the event
Yeah.
is you're going to have access to us. You're going to be able to ask questions. And then at the end of the day, we do a Q&A where me and Scott are just going to sit there and answer all your questions that you have on anything related in business. So think of the best world of a mastermind. Me and Scott, whatever your problem is, like me and Scott have the answer. And that's not to say like we're better than anybody. It's just we've been in it for so long. We've had multiple locations. We've helped so many gym owners that I've never had a question where it's like, I don't know the answer. And again, it's not coming from a place of I think I'm better than anybody. It's just I've had
You've been
so
through
much
so much
experience,
shit.
so many problems. I've also made so many mistakes. And the
Yeah.
reason why I have the answer for most is I know what to do, what not to do. Scott has the same thing. It was like, we've tried that and it failed. A great example of this is right now, hiring coaches is really tough. So a lot of places are struggling to hire coaches. And there's two best practices. One is, and this is what I gave my other client who was struggling to grow. He's like, dude, I can't find a qualified coach, so I can't grow anymore. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was had an ad for a part-time position at his gym. I'm like, let's think about it. Does anybody want a part-time position at the gym? That's going to be high quality. The person you want is somebody right now that is looking to advance that's already a full-time coach at another gym. The only way they're going to apply for your job is if there's career advancement. If I'm going to do a lateral move or below, why would I apply for your position? Doesn't make any sense. No one would do a lateral move, right? Like changing job sucks. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. The only way you're going to look at another job is if it's above, right? Like higher pay, more opportunity, etc. So I was like, what you're going to do is you're going to create an ad for a head coach for full time. So when he first launched it, he did part time and full time. I'm like, dude, it makes no sense. Why would there be a part time and a full time? Put it as full time, put it as a range between what you're willing to pay and what's the max somebody could ever make with you, even if you don't ever plan on doing that, right? Put up the ad within a week, had 30 people, and he had two rock stars that he hired within a week
Yep.
making those changes. The only reason I know that is because at my peak, I had 10 locations and 75 full-time team members. And the number one thing that was preventing from growing and the number one pain points inside of our business was hiring people, right? After COVID, hiring changed a
Yep.
lot. So we had to change tactics and strategies to get the people in. And then once they get in, you can talk them down to a lower position, right? Because you can show them how they eventually could have that position, but today they're not qualified for
And
that
yeah, and
position.
you need to know their obstacles and objections. So
Yeah.
the same guy, because he mentioned that he was, and I had him walk me through it too, right? And I said, are you kind of going for, because he's semi-private, right?
Yeah.
And so, are you going for more of the group coach? You're hiring trainers and right, personal trainers. And he mentioned trainer. And, so here's the thing, like some of the best people, yeah, they want a permanent home that's a better location. They want to find the place. But so many of them are commission only as well, right? Like they only get paid when they service sessions, like at Lifetime Fitness or something like that, right? And so one of their biggest fears, though, and what prevents them from looking for that place to advance and all that is, cool, I've been here for how long and I built up this clientele. And if I leave, I'm going to have to go somewhere and rebuild it from scratch. And I'm going to be making a lot less money, right? So, like, know that with some of these elite trainers. And so, bottom line is that they're going to walk into a book of clients or a steady X clients or X hours, or you need to put that front and center
Yeah.
because that would be a reason why I wouldn't go look. But if I see that, I did that when was losing Danny, who was moving, right? With his girlfriend, they're moving to Texas. And so I mentioned on there the book of business they'd be walking into, and like I couldn't keep up with the people coming in. Just little things like that, guys, can overcome a problem that you've had for 3 years.
Yeah. And then we can see the roadblocks that you're about to face. So if you've never grown or scaled
Mm-hmm.
a gym, we know the roadblocks that are going to be on your path, and we can show you those roadblocks before you even have to face them.
Yeah,
Because I've literally lost millions and millions of dollars off of mistakes that I've made.
same.
That I'm like, I did this, never fucking do this, and the reason why I teach you to do this and this and this is because I lost millions doing it the other way,
Yeah.
right? Like I have a presentation. It's about creating a profitable franchise model of showing you what the top franchises do. And I violated it and I lost millions of dollars. The reason why I came up with this model is like, all right, what are the top franchises do that have zero failure rate, that are super profitable? How are they positioning their gyms?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, the reason why I messed up is because I violated every single aspect of this because I'm an idiot, right? So I was like, all right, now I'm going to teach other gym owners how to not lose millions of dollars by structuring their business correctly, and they don't have to violate this. How valuable is learning that ahead of time? And when I taught that model, we had a VIP dinner, people could sit with us, and we had a young lady sit next to me, and like she's like, this really opened my eyes to like how I have my model structured, and I'm like, and here's where your bottleneck is going to be next. And she like, it kind of like opened up her eyes because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that you think is going to prevent you from scaling is not the thing that's going to prevent you from scaling. It's actually this, right? But now she gets to go home and be able to do that and not have to learn the hard way of where her next bottleneck is going to be. And the reason why
Yes.
we can confidently say we can help you with this is because we've done it, we've lived it, we help other gym owners solve these problems every single day. And there's not a problem that you're facing right now in your business that we haven't solved or solved for other gym owners. So the Q&A, the ability to come and ask me and Scott questions
Hmm.
afterwards is absolutely invaluable. And then the networking, we can introduce you to people that can help you solve your problem. For
Yep.
example, with the hiring thing, one of the things he had to teach, like he had to be able to backtrack on what the position was. I'm not going to teach you that. I'm going to, hey, go talk to him. He'll teach you how he does it and how he implemented it. And he's going to, be able to help you more than I can. Right. So we can make those introductions. And then I think my favorite presentation that you do is the wealth building stuff because no one teaches the stuff or it's very fragmented and you got to get it from different places. But coming from a gym owner and understanding where a gym owner is coming from and that journey to now we're making money. Now, what do we actually do? Or maybe you're struggling with money, like how to get lines of credit, how to like the best places to do that, how to move money around to make things work and strategies to make things work that you're not going to find anywhere else. And you can speak for yourself, Scott, but it came out of pain, right? Like the
Extreme
reason
pain.
the reason why you learn these things is because of pain. And I would say 90% of what me and Scott teach from is from pain,
Yeah.
right? We had to pave a path that didn't exist for us, and we had to learn with our own pain. And I always kind of say, like, my journey looks like a drunk driver. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I always say, people ask me why I don't drink, and I say, my dad's drinks enough for the two of us, right? So, but people think it's funny, but I'm like, dude, my business looks like a drunk driver, right? Like I'm willing to try, I'm willing to fail, but I always get back on the road and find the path. I get off the road, get back on the road. What me and you want to do is we want to prevent them from getting off the road, right?
Yeah.
So you've had to get off the road. I've had to get off the road with money many times and figure things out. I'm like, dude, if I knew what Scott was teaching when I started being profitable, like I would probably have, like, no joke, probably $50 million more in my bank account today. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not exaggerating. If I had Scott as a money mentor for me when I first started making profit, I would probably have $50 million more in my bank account. Like, that's not a joke, like
Mm-mm.
legit, right? So I would I knew what Scott teached back then. So once we start teaching you how to make more money, and again, we orchestrate this whole journey for you guys from how do we get a flood of people to how do we then make more money off of those flood of people, right? How do we actually have the right business model? And then once we do, we start printing profit. Now you have a new problem. What the heck do I do with my money? And then Scott closes with what the heck do I do with my money? So he's going to teach you the indestructible wealth, the best wealth building. And again, like I've not seen anyone do a better job. I've been to a ton of real estate masterminds where they always bring in a money guy and what to do with your money and da da da. Like no one touches what Scott is about to teach you guys. And it's freaking gold. Like take notes. One of my clients who's with me, one of my favorite clients on the planet, just love the guy. He's like, dude, like that last presentation, like he felt like his like future was set now because he's like, I have the path, right? No one's presented this path to me before. Like you're going to be open to a lot of things that you've never heard before. You're going to think about money differently, but you're going to kind of breathe a lot easier because you're like, now I kind of know where the future holds. Because like a lot of people go from struggling, not making money. That's a massive problem. We're going to solve that for you. But then the next one that causes anxiety and actually like holds people back is, well, if I'm successful and make a lot of money, then like that's a new set of problems. And we are trying to give you guys a new set of problems. But before you have those problems, we want to give you guys a legitimate solution. And Scott goes I think you went 4 hours
Yeah,
on that topic.
that and I could have gone easily
Yeah, for
another
sure.
12. Easily another 12.
Yeah.
But, I'm starting with the fundamentals because I can't tell you how many amazing business owners that I can meet that make good money, but they don't know they don't know the smart way on how to protect it and how to grow it. And then maybe there's a market shift like COVID or this or that or these ads, and then they're kind of back in a struggle standpoint, right? And ultimately, I want you guys to be in a position with where you pay the least amount you can to the IRS. You cannot just assume your bookkeeper and your CPA are taking advantage of everything. They miss so much. It's not even funny. And first of all, we got to start there. And then what you do with those profits and how you protect it and how you invest it. Guys, if you get really serious and you're like, cool, I'm going to do this now, so I just don't ever have to worry about money ever again. If there's another COVID, if there's another pandemic, if there's another whatever, you're like, you know what, I got this. You can put yourself in a position where you just don't ever have to worry about retirement. And that's so powerful. And ultimately, what I want every single business owner to arrive at a point where they can choose to live a work optional lifestyle. You're an entrepreneur. You're probably going to be working. Now, you might set up your business where it requires 5 hours a week from you, or you might sell it and move on to something else. Who knows? Your path is for you. But at the end of the day, if you can work because you want to and not because you have to, damn, does your life get a lot more amazing. And it isn't, you don't have to stack millions and millions and millions to do it. If you do some of the right things, you let time do the work, you can get to that point a lot faster than you think. A lot faster. And I'm the same boat, man. Like, I destroyed my financial life in my 20s. I had multiple properties that went into foreclosure. I had credit score as low as you could get. I was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt that I had to dig out of just to get to broke, just to get to $0 net worth. It was bad, guys. It was bad, bad, bad. And I've been broke for so long. And, the great thing is I learned so many hard lessons that I get to teach you. And I tried to get rich through investments the wrong way, and I blew myself up. Then I got smart, and then I've learned how to do it the right way. And by the way, everything that Matt and I are going to give you guys, it's not just to tell. We're going to show, not tell, right? Like, these are things that we have done and lived through and are doing today. And so I will pull back and I'll show you what I've done with the money and how I've done it and the investments that I have and what they're worth and what they're going to be worth in 20, 25, 30 years. I'm just going to show that stuff to you because this isn't theory. This isn't a dog and pony show. This is what we've actually done and what's gotten us here and what's going to get us to the next phase of our life, which Matt's doing amazing things, right? He's going to move to Aruba, for God's sake. That's amazing. It's so cool. I'm so happy to hear that because
just need someone to buy my house first.
That's it. You're close. And the way you handled what you did and getting your own appraisals, brilliant, freaking brilliant. Like, master play right there. There are guys, we can give you like 20 different nuggets that will make you over 6 figures in this damn thing. Like, just one little thing is worth so much. Just get your asses here. Hopefully if you've listened this far into it, you're going to come.
I think that one of the things that you talked about at the event when we talk about money is the gym business is a cash flow business. If you do it correctly, it's not a cash out business. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm actively selling my businesses, and the most I've sold one for is $1 million. Like, and that's a super successful gym. But $1 million, who's retiring on $1 million? And that's like, I know one other gym owner that's sold like their gym for $1 million.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
like,
exceedingly difficult.
You're not talking about a massive like cash out, any of that type of stuff, right? Like, if you plan on retiring on $1 million, then maybe you could reach your retirement goals off of selling your location, but you better be cash flowing at least 300,000 to 500,000 a year off of that business to be able to get in that. Because the multiples on gym businesses,
they suck, guys.
They suck. It's really tough. So with that, it's a cash flow business, but what do you do with that cash flow, and how do you set yourself up for long-term success is going to be really important. And there's stuff that obviously Scott's going to tell you some stuff you've probably heard before, but are you doing it? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is some stuff, but I already know that. I love the people that say, I already know that, but are you doing it? Yeah. Right. And that's the key. Martin Rooney used to always do an event, and he'd always have a kind of a smart ass comment like, but do you eat broccoli? And that comment meant they wanted to ask advanced techniques and all this other stuff, but are you eating broccoli? So like, are you doing the basics? So you go from doing the basics to advanced stuff that obviously once you're, financially in a better position, you guys can do and set yourself up for long-term success. So even if you're like, dude, I'm not making any money right now, why am I worrying about wealth?
I'm glad you made that point. Yeah. It's even if you're in that point, guys, you're gonna know what you need to do right now. You do need to take steps now. Not to like obviously you're not gonna buy short-term or long-term real estate investments right now, right? But there are things that you need to do and put in place now in order to get to that point. And as I started to grow the businesses too, I had no credit. I got up to like 4 locations and I still had terrible credit because I knew how to put deals together. I knew different
Yeah.
things to do. So I want,
But
and
even in
again,
with that, like people do want to grow, but they don't have the money. Scott will show you how you
I'll
guys
show you
can,
how you don't need it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, how you can scale and grow without money. I don't recommend it. I recommend you have a
Nope.
model that makes
You're
really good
right.
money that can like my strategy has always been the first location needs to support the second location if it made no money. And then, vice versa, right? So being able to that way you never sweat the money. I think a lot of people try to grow too quick, too fast. But
Totally.
a lot of the strategies, if you do have a scalable model, you can start acquiring a lot of businesses with what Scott teaches you and scale way quicker than starting, from the ground up as well. Or maybe you want to acquire some other businesses. Maybe you want one gym and you want to be able to acquire other businesses, learn the game of how do you actually do that. You're going to be able to learn that as well. If you guys want to attend the events, we're going to show you guys how to attend the event. Again, the right person is somebody that, with the right knowledge, they're going to take action, they're going to be able to apply it, and they're going to be able to explode their business really, really, really quick. And again, like if you just apply Scott's high ticket stuff to what you currently do, like I have no qualms about being able to say you'll add at least an extra 10K a month in profit if you put in like 5 hours a week to the process. The reason I can say this is because I've seen it.
Mhm.
And I'm going to show you the top marketing strategies to really blow up your gym in a very short period of time every single month. Not just only works well in September or works well in January. How do you get 30 to 50 trials through your doors? Not leads, trials through your doors every single month, even in December, even in August, even in July. How do we get 30 to 50 trials? Some of you don't need that, right? Some like, I just need like 15, 20. I'm good because maybe you do like a semi-private model and you don't need a ton of people through your doors and you don't have any churn. But most large group training gyms to grow at a decent clip, not 5 people a month clip, but
Mhm.
an actual like hockey stick grow, you probably need 30 to 50 trials through your doors in order for you to reach your goals. Going to teach you guys that, right? So you're going to get the best of like every world. You're going to get client acquisition at a high volume. Then you're going to get the money models to like be able to make a ton of money off way less clients. And then at the end of the day, you're going to learn what to do with your money. And I'm also going to show you how to structure your model for profitability, right? So you're going to get everything that you possibly need. Now, if you want that, if you want to get the room with me and Scott, you want to learn our tactics and our strategies, what you guys are going to go and do is you're going to go to gymprofitssummit.com, gymprofitsummit.com. You're going to get on the wait list for the event. So you're going to get on the wait list. You're just going to fill out a form. Literally, it's going to take you 5 seconds. Give us your first name, last name, email, and phone number. You're going to get on the wait list. And then we are going to have an early access for those on the wait list. So once you join the wait list, eventually we're going to give you guys early bird registration, which you're going to get the lowest price tickets possible. You'll have 48-hour access to purchase those tickets, and then you'll be able to get those before the general public. We only have 120 spots for the event. That's all the event hosts, and it's going to sell out. So in order to get a ticket, you're going to want to join the wait list. Again, that gives you 48-hour access before the general public. We'll obviously nurture you to want to purchase and show you everything that's at the event. But obviously, hopefully by now, you're interested and you want to attend. Um, and then when you go to gymprofitsummit.com, you're also going to see testimonials from the last event. People recorded videos for us, took screenshots of organic people
Yeah.
posting about the event. People are like, it's the best event ever. One person says you can count on one hand the moments and events that truly change the trajectory of your life. That's a pretty big praise
That makes me
for
feel pretty good.
yeah. For attending the event, right? So with that, people are like, it's the best conference ever. You guys can see the screenshots. Those are all organic. They're not made up. They're not AI generated. Nowadays, you can't trust anything because you can generate
Right.
pretty much anything with that. So if you want a ton of people through your doors, you want to learn how to sell them, you want to make more money, you want to learn how to structure your business properly, you want to be able to know what to do with the profits from your business, go to jimprofitssummit.com, join the wait list. You'll get 48-hour access when tickets go live to be able to purchase. And then
Mhm.
we hopefully will see you November 14th, 15th in Scottsdale. Scott's going to make me a steak, I heard.
I'm not I'm
Yeah.
not cooking for you, man. Not with your high standards.
Anything else we want to add about the event?
Guys, this is it's going to be so interactive, right? It's going to be so interactive. We're going to be eat lunch together. We're going to go out for dinner, like all that kind of stuff. So this is stuff that feeds me for months. I mean, just it's awesome. And in Michigan, doing it at your like that was so amazing getting together with the other gym owners, learning from you and just being able to interact with people, at the hotel and at lunch and at dinner. It's just awesome. It's one of the things that gives me life forever, and so I can't wait for this.
One piece of advice, just sometimes people when I speak, like they're afraid to talk to me. So they're just like, I want to ask a question, but I'm afraid I don't want to come and ask the question. Me
Yep.
and Scott, like the thing that about me and Scott, like we'll stay around all night and answer your questions. We want to make sure that you leave, you got the value, you got your answers, like we answered your questions.
Hmm.
um, for us, it's we want you to have value. We want the validation that you got value from the event. I want everyone leaving. Like every presentation for me is always, how do we make sure every presentation at the end, everyone goes, that was worth the
Yeah.
attendance? Because
Yeah.
we know you got to leave your business. Most of you got to get on a flight, leave your family. Like me and Scott have young children, and nowadays I have to base, do I go some, is it worth leaving my 5-year-old son? Is it worth leaving my 18-month-old daughter that mean the world to me? So for me, my dad was never around. So he was always gone. He was doing construction. He'd be gone for 4 to 6 months at a time and never saw my father. So I've always, hey, I'm going to do everything humanly possible to be with my kids. So I always base the decision on, is it worth missing time with my kids to
Hmm.
go to this event? Right? Even putting on this event, I have to leave my family to put on the event. I would not put on an event and leave my family unless I thought it was going to be like life changing for gym owners. That's the pressure that me and Scott put on ourselves, is we want to make sure that every presentation, every second, we're validating it was worth leaving your business, it was worth leaving your family, it was worth the investment into the trip, it was worth the hotel, it was worth the food costs. Like the cost of the event isn't just the ticket. Even though we're going to make these stupid reasonable, like we're not trying to make any money
Yeah.
off of this event. We wanted to make it a must attend event. We want to eliminate every excuse to be there because we know that the information that we're going to give you is potentially life changing
Yeah.
for you and your business, life changing for your family. And that's just, and I can say it so confidently because that's without my information. That's just with Scott's, which I've witnessed firsthand. And it's only going to get better from what he presented last time, right? Because every time we present, we have new data, new information, new
Oh yeah.
situations
You
to
and I are
fall
so
from.
iterative. We're never done. We're always making everything better. I can't wait to see your stuff this time around. Because we've been talking and chatting about it, and you're constantly improving it, which is nuts. And just to piggyback real quick off of what you're talking about, life changing. One of those guys was David, right? And when I met him and all that, and when he's saying it's like, man, it's doing well, my business is doing well, but X, Y, and Z, and like, what's the main thing driving you? And he's just like, man, the first thing is like, it's like I want to build that indestructible wealth that you're talking about, right, and all that. But like first thing right now is like, man, I mean, we've been renting because you know what's happened in markets forever, right? Or since COVID, like they just shot up in certain markets. It's like, dude, you got to have, they're two
Yeah.
and a half times more expensive with the interest rate and what homes go for. And he's like, man, I just really want to put down roots for my family and stop renting and buy a home. And that was in April. Like, was that like mid to late April? We're right now in mid August. And a week or two ago, he said, dude, just want to say thank you so much. Contract accepted. Wait, he closed on it. Sorry, he closed on it a week or two ago. So, like, less than 3 months later, they've got the money and everything to be able to put in the offer, which got accepted. They moved in like a week or two ago in, you know what I mean? He's got multiple kids and now they've got he did exactly what he wanted to, and we're talking months.
So
Three
the
months.
funny part about that story is he was a coaching client of mine. And I was like, dude, you got to come to the event. And he's like, pretty much was like, talk me into it. Right. I was like, Scott's presentation alone is worth you showing up. You need to show up for elite, like, show up for Scott and leave if you want afterwards. Right. Like, just show up for Scott's stuff. And I guarantee you it will be worth it. Right. Guess what? He showed, I had to talk him into showing up because he wanted like it to be worth his time. He wanted to make it worth leaving his family. He wanted to make it worth
Mm-hmm.
leaving his business, right? Like you want to make sure it was worth it. And that's the question you all have to, is it going to
Yeah.
be worth it? Right? Like, is it worth learning how to get an extra 30 to 50 trials through your doors? Is it worth learning how to convert those people to membership at over 60%? Is it worth learning how to add an extra 10 to 20K a month in profit in your business from what Scott's going to teach you with high ticket sales, what I'm going to teach you and how to send clients? Is it worth making sure that your model's actually set up for profitability? Is it worth learning the wealth building strategies? The goal is every time we present, you say it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if I ask you, was it worth it? At least lie to my face and say it was worth it, right? But we wouldn't put on this event unless we thought it was something the industry needed. We know there's a ton of events. Like there's a
Tons.
ton of conferences that you can attend, and they got headliners and they have these big speakers and they put a lot of money into their marketing. And a lot of it is a lot of just, you
There's a
know,
lot of sizzle,
a lot of sizzle.
not a
We're
lot of
prom
steak.
Yeah, we're not promising you any fucking sizzle. We're promising you a ton of steak. Tactics, strategies, real and raw. I curse more than Scott does. I'm a little bit more of a, I like to say the F word probably more than I should. So if that offends
Fuck
you, then
is one of the most versatile words. It is the most versatile word in the English language, no doubt.
yeah. So we're not trying, like, we're not there to impress you. We're not there to try to get you to buy our stuff. We're there to actually help you. And that's the difference is we truly do want to help you. This isn't a setup. We know that, hey, if you like us and you think our stuff works, you'll come to us and ask, how do we work with you? Like that's true, right? Like that's a fact. We don't run charities or else we would not be preaching what we teach you guys to do. But we're also not going to hard pitch you and we're not going to beg you and we're not going to
Yep.
do some sales stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable or feel
Yep.
weird.
Yep.
If you find value, maybe you'll want to continue to work for us. But for us, the biggest thing for the reason why we do it is the validation afterwards of how it changed your business. Like that's the kudos for us. Like that's why we do it. We don't need your money, but we do want to help you. So if you want the real raw stuff, if you want the rah rah and the fluff and go somewhere else. Like you can go to a different event and they'll do that in spades. But if you want the actual tactical stuff, if you ever been part of a mastermind and they talk like tactics and strategies and you're like taking notes, you're like, oh, this is the good stuff that you're not going to find on YouTube. You're not going to like,
Hmm.
they're not going to be willing to air this publicly, but they'll share it in the private setting. That's this event.
Yep.
We're opening the kimono. We don't hold anything back. We don't gatekeep. We don't give you theory. Like we give you actionable, real stuff that you can take home. So again, my ideal person, you're an action taker. You get the right information. You know you're going to go home and you're going to apply it. And if you do, it will change the trajectory of your business. It will change the trajectory of your life. And that's a guarantee. And our last part is there is a guarantee, guys. We have a 10K guarantee. If after the event you feel like we didn't show you how to make at least an extra 10K a month in revenue inside of your business, ask for a refund and we'll give you a refund on the spot. Because the last thing that we want people to do is you went to the event, you didn't get any value. We were smoke and mirrors and we're full of it, right?
Hmm.
Like we're putting our money where our mouth is. We'll give you an instant refund at the event if you feel that we didn't give you real tactics, real strategies to move the money needle inside of your business, at least 10K a month extra
Yep.
inside of your business within 90 days. If you don't think you have the strategy to do that, come and ask us for a refund and we will happily do that. I didn't have to give any
I'm
refunds.
predicting zero refunds.
Yes.
That being said, 100% willing to do it.
Yep.
And keep in mind, guys, so there's 120 spots. We're gonna open up for early bird, so get on that because these will easily sell out. So be an action taker and get on it. I think the only other thing I wanted to add was that so this is November 14th and 15th. Okay, so it's a good full 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, so it's not going to interfere with that. Thanksgiving's late this year. Obviously, great time to come out to Scottsdale. And it's before all the craziness happens. It's before all the craziness happens, before Thanksgiving blends into Christmas shopping, blends into the holidays, all that kind of stuff. So it's really good timing to focus on your business. And it shouldn't conflict with much. But if you're not quite sure or like something could come up, I don't want you to wait till the last minute because these tickets will sell out. If I think we talked about this, man, I don't know if we finalized it, but like if for some reason they got the tickets and they couldn't come or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever happens, what we're going to do is I think we're going to send the recordings
We'll
and
give
then
you the
also,
recordings and then you can attend the next event that we do together.
yes,
Our goal is to do one a year
yeah,
together. So obviously me and Scott have separate coaching businesses and different offers and different things that we do. But the goal is to be able to come together once a year and do this event. So if
hmm,
you miss it, one, you'll get the replays. We're not offering replays to anybody else and virtual and all that. So like
correct.
you're going to get the most out of it by attending live because replays and all that stuff. But if that were to be the case, we're going to have it professionally recorded. So you guys will have access to that probably within like 2 to 4 weeks. And then you can attend the next event that we do together absolutely free. So
Yep.
you're not going to miss out on anything. So get the tickets. The tickets are going to be stupid reasonable, guys. Like,
Yeah.
even if for some reason you couldn't attend, you didn't get the replay, you're not going to be wasting a ton of money anyways. So with that, get the tickets. You probably could also resell them if you wanted to. Like get the tickets, attend the event. There's no risk to be able to do that. So either you can get the replays if you can't make it for some reason, we know things happen, or and then you can attend our next live event on us.
Yep. Yep. So that's it, guys. I really want to see you there. I'm glad you got to get introduced to Matt. You know, we've only met each other in person a few months ago, but he's the real deal. He's legit, and like we just align in so many different ways, just with business ethics and everything that we've been through. And so, you know, it's funny because it was day one is when you had half the day and I kind of had half the day. And it was the next morning, we were sitting at the table because there was, right, before it got started, and you're like, we should do the next event together. And I'm like, I'm glad you said it because I was just about to say it. It was just crazy how well what you do and what I do play together. It was just insane. That's why I described to people. I'm like, it's kind of like two sides of the same coin. And it's just like peanut butter and jelly. It just works together so well. And there's not a doubt in each other's minds, like, holy shit, let's just do this together on the next one. And that's exactly what you're doing. And it's going to be so much better.
Yep.
You know, it almost looked like we coordinated everything last time, but that's just how it came together. And this time we actually get to coordinate and curate this together.
Yep.
So I can't wait for it. It's going to be the coolest thing.
It's gonna be awesome. And then
Yeah.
guys can't beat the weather. I
Nope.
need I need any excuse to get out of Michigan come November. So it's gonna be awesome. We guarantee you guys like it's gonna be the best event for the information. We can't promise you it's gonna be the highest production event you've ever been to. If you want the sizzle and you want the rah rah and you want all that stuff again, plenty of places to go. But if you want the real tactical shit that actually moves the money needle inside of your business, you're not going to get this information anywhere else. It's going to be a must attend event. And you're going to see, again, the reaction that people have is going to be genuine. And they're going to say, this changed the trajectory of my business and my life. And we want you guys there. We want to help you. And we're going to do everything in our power to make it worth every single second and every single penny and every single sacrifice that you have to make it to be there.
Well said. All right, guys, in the show notes, it's gymprofitsummit.com. So there's 2 S's in that. gymprofitsummit.com. We'll put that link in the show notes. You'll get on the early bird list. Depending on if you go there later, they might be active already. Do not hesitate. 120 of them. We will see you here in Scottsdale. I can't wait for it. Looking forward to it. Matt, thank you so much for coming on the show and dropping some wisdom bombs and getting people pumped up about this.
Of course. Obviously, we didn't drop too many wisdom bombs, but we will for sure be dropping a lot at the event. So
absolutely, guys. So we're both looking forward to seeing you guys here in Scottsdale in November. So thanks a lot for listening. We'll see you next week. Listen, if you're stuck and could use some advice in your business, whether you're just starting out, a veteran in the business, or expanding online or into multiple locations, you can hop on a free call with us to pick our brains at ptlegends.com/one-on-one call. You can see that in the show notes. That is with numbers. Chances are we'll be able to help you get some clarity on what you need to do specifically in your business to get to the next level. It's not a sales call. We'll connect you with the right resources to help you solve your problems. But if you want to learn more about working with us, that's cool too. We can share that information should you want it. So book your call now to get out of the rat race before your week consumes you, which is easy to do at ptlegends.com/one-on-one call. That's with the number 1 on the number 1 call. You can find this in the show notes. See you soon.